This episode associates with our operational mistakes in a startup of fire heaters. To better understand the problem and the mistake we've made, uh, have a look at the piano ID here. Here is the flue gas duct of the fire heaters, and the flue gas passes through this plate heat exchanger and exchange heat with the combustion air. Here it says you can see the combustion air from the blower comes and passes through this heat exchanger, and the flue gas exchange the heat with this combustion air, and at the end through the induced fan it goes to the stack and it goes at the end to the atmosphere. That's the way it works in fire heaters. And you might ask these questions: why do I need to preheat the air before going to the burners? You see, in order to have a good combustions at burners, it is normal practice to preheat airs to about 150 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Celsius. It depends on the vendor of that fire heaters. Now, what is the problem? The problem here is exactly the bypass valve for uh, combustion air. Here, the main direction of the combustion air is this way. It passes through this way. It passes through the heat exchangers and goes to the burner of the fire heaters. But here we also install a bypass. It is a kind of conventions for fire heaters manufacturers to to install a bypass for combustion air. Why? Uh, and what is the function or what is the purpose of this bypass valve, manual valve? It is simply because of the temperature control purposes. Let me give you one spec here, one specification here. The outlet temperature of the flue gas at the end of this duct should be always above 150 degrees Celsius in order to avoid any corrosion caused by sulfur compounds. And now you might raise this question: what is the relationship between this one and the bypass here? Imagine that this temperature indicator shows that the temperature is less than 150 degrees Celsius. Let's say it is 140 degrees Celsius. Now I have to do something, take some actions in order to increase the temperature. So I bypass some amount of combustion air to these directions, and this some amount of flow rate, some amount portion of the flow rate of the combustion air is not going to pass through this ones. It means that this flow gas, which was exchanging heat with this the combustion air, now transfer some of the heat at the outlet with itself. It can exchange all of the heat like the pass with the combustion air, because the flow rate of the combustion air is not that much like before. So it carries some of the heat with itself, and over time, since it has some extra heat with itself, the temperature at the outlet increases above 150 degrees Celsius, and it fulfills the specification. That's the reason why we use combustion air bypass valve during a startup of fire heaters. In one day, control room operator asks the field operator to change the opening of this bypass in order to control the temperature here. After 1 minute, the fire heater goes to the shutdown state because the draft pressure here got out of range. You see, the draft pressure should be maintained between -5 mm water gauge to -20 mm water gauge maximum. And you might ask, what is the relationship between changing the opening of these ones and the draft pressure? That's a good question. Let me explain here. As I stated in just previous minutes, when you change the opening of this one, the flow rate of this one through passing through this one changes. And as a result, the flue gas exchanging heat with this combustion air, the outlet temperature of this flue gas changes. And when the outlet temperature of this flue gas changes, it means that its density changes. And when its density changes, it means that the volumetric flow rate also changes. And since this system, the pressure automatic controller is in automatic mode, at that time, unfortunately, this controller was unable to cope with the situations, was unable to tackle the situations. And because of this, the draft pressure got out of range. And unfortunately, when we asked the operator was inexperienced and he changed the opening of the valve so fast, and all of them was done in a fast manner. So the temperature here changed very fast, the density changed very fast, and the volumetric flow rate changed very fast. And of course, it is clear to us that it was it was clear to us that it was not able to control the draft pressure. So if you are a operation operator working inside, please be careful with such bypass valve. You should play with it in an extremely smooth manner. That was our mistake in operation, our experience, and I hope that it would be beneficial for your career and you wouldn't make such similar mistakes in the future. Have a good day.